Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you love anime, heartfelt reactions, and deep dives into symbolism and themes, then you're in the right place. Before we jump into today's reaction, don't forget to hit that like button to show some love, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a moment of fun. And if you want even more exclusive content like early access to my reactions, full-length anime watch-alongs, and an amazing community of fellow anime lovers, please do check out my Patreon. You can find a link in the description box below. Your support truly means the world as it helps to keep these reactions coming, and I'd love to have you join our cozy little anime family. Today, we are reacting to episode 25 of Frieren, and we have seen that Fan is stepping up to take down Frieren. And that's going to be really exciting to watch because Freeman's essentially immune to hypnotism. She's immune to restraint magic. She's just that powerful. But I think Fern's going to bring her down, and this is going to give Fern the confidence in herself that she's been lacking. She always compares herself to Frieren. She compares herself in terms of not being as powerful. And I think this is going to really drive it home to her that she does have talent and she does have capabilities and abilities beyond her own recognition. So I'm excited for that to maybe drum it into her that she is that good, that she does have the abilities to be a powerful mage, that she is as good as Frieren, if not more talented, if she's able to beat this replica. Because if she's able to beat the replica, then she's able to beat the actual Frieren because they mimic the magic and skill and mana. So technically, she could give Frieren a good run for her money, but then again, you also have to factor into the fact that they don't have a mind, so maybe the mind does play into it, because again, Ubel's replica didn't know that she was depending on land to come out of hiding to actually destroy her replica, whereas if it had a mind, it probably would have maybe calculated that, weighed up risk and reward, consequence, all that. So, the mind probably does play a significant role in terms of the actual battles, but still, in terms of the mana and skill and magic, Fan's going to give this replica a good run for its money, I think. But we're not going to yap because I really want to get in and watch how this plays out. And yeah, without further ado, we're going to get into episode 25. And they are correct, it doesn't have a mind. We did already learn that. I can.
それでしたら、もしかしたら私、フリーレン様を殺
I
せる
love
かも
that
しれ
she
ません。
still phrases it so politely. I can't
So-
speak today.
はい。
I'll kill Miss Frieren. Oh, okay, flashback.
じ
Ooh.
ゃあ、作戦を立てようか。
Oh, okay. What was that flashback about? Has Frieren come to blows with Seri before? Interesting flashback, but it's to do with Frieren and Seri because Frieren's having that connection back to it, and we don't get to hear what the dialogue is, but I imagine it will become relevant soon. But that's exciting to see what that's in relation to.
エーデルの精神魔法を使って、私の精神防御を破って、フェルンが殺すってことでいいね。はい。
Oh my god.
いや、はいって。
Did the other one not make it? Was it only him that made it? She had to
ジェン
leave.
ズさんの複製体に襲われて脱落しました。彼の足止めのおかげで逃げ切ることができたのです。
Did he
無事
die?
に脱出できている
Oh,
とい
he
いのですが
doesn't know.
構うな、行け。
Oh, what a selfless man.
合格者なしよりマシだ。
This is the teamwork and collaboration that Sense finds value in. He was willing to stay back to give him a chance.
治療ができる者はいるか。
聖典を持っていますので、簡単な回復魔法くらいなら、複製体に心はないんだね。
はい。エーデルさんの見立てで
Why
は
is Richter like
心の働き
all
を
the way
精
in
密
the
に模
back?
倣して
I
いる
know
だ
why
けで
Sense is
心
because
そ
she
のもの
can't be
はないそうです。
involved. She can't be seen as
これで楽
influencing
に
it,
倒せる
but
手段はなくなったね。
Richter is kind of like
そ
removed
れを
from
踏
the
まえた上で
discussion.
作戦を立てないと。
その性質がわからんまま手は出せん。
特に複製体特有の弱点は本当にないのかだ。
そいつに弱点はないぜ。複製体を操っているのはシュピーゲルっていう神話の時代の魔物だ。
Look at her knowledge.
なぜ知っている？
Naveen is
一番上
smart.
の兄貴が大陸魔法協会の霊落の応募攻略の先見隊の一人だったんだ。
情報を持っていたわけか。道理でここまで来れたわけだ。
Don't be rude. You're just bitter that they kicked your
だが
ass.
とても合理的とは思えんな。それならば初めから俺たちと情報を共有して協力するべきだった。
You
協
tried to
力で
kill
きるよう
them.
な雰囲気じゃなかったからな。
Like, of
フリー
course
レ
they
ン
weren't
た
gonna
ちは気
trust
持ちいいから
you.
先に行っちゃっていたしね。安易に協力できるか。
嫌われたものだな。
確かに俺はお
Can you
っさん
blame
だ
her?
が、面と向かって言われると来るものがあるな。
謝った方がいいんじゃない？
She's
悪か
like,
った
no.
な、おっさん。
I'll apologize for
先
them.
見隊の観
Double
測結果によ
down,
る
old
と、
man.
シュピーゲルはあの扉の向こう側にい
Oh,
た。
so it's created its most
本体は攻
powerful
撃手段を持た
in
ない
order
脆弱な魔物だって話だ。
protect itself.
こちらの魔力探知の結果と一致するな。
Interesting. So it's just
本体
behind
は
the
扉
replica
の
of
向こう側だ。
Frieren.
だがあの扉には強力な封印が施されている。
命がけで宝物庫の扉を閉じる魔法。
Oh, so they
民間魔法の
have
中
to
でもトッ
defeat
プクラ
the
スの封印
replica
魔法だよ。
first then.
あの扉は術者が死ぬまで開くことはない。
Okay, so they have no choice. They can't distract it and unseal
扉を避
it.
けて壁を破るという方法もあるけど、多分それも対処済みだろうね。
So they have no
ど
choice
ちら
but to
にせ
defeat
よ、
the
シ
replica.
ュピーゲルを叩くには、あの複製体は倒さねばならんということ。
ダンジョンの中にいるやつ全員の複製体を作り出す。その複製体は時間とともに最深部に集まってくるっていう
Oh,
習性が
damn.
ある。
Okay.
前回の先見隊は兄貴の部隊を除いてほとんどが壊滅した。最深部目前のちょうどこの場所でだ。
So they're like sitting ducks. They need to get a move on.
複製体は心の働きを精密に模倣しているんですよね。なら行動パターンによる弱点は本人と同じなんですよね。
おそらくは。
その弱点って何なの？
She's not gonna tell her
Frieren-sama.
just in case.
あっちの壁際に立ってもら
Because
って
if it can
もいい
make
で
a
すか？
replica based on the person in the mind, if she knows what the vulnerability is, then the replica will know. What the fuck?
確かにこれはフリーレンの致命的な隙だ。なぜ戦っている時に気がつかなかったんだ。いや、手だれという先入観があったからこそ気づけなかった。魔法を使う瞬間にほんの一瞬だけ魔力探知が途切れている。
そ
So
れ
you
って
can
見
sneak
習い魔
up
法
on
使い
her.
がよくするミスじゃ。
昔から苦手なんだよね。
自覚があるのならなんで言ってくれなかったんですか？
だって恥ずかしいし。
そんなことを言っている場合ですか？
I love her so much.
しかし他の技量があまりにも卓越しすぎている。
But it's still a fatal
実際
vulnerability
にこの隙をつけ
nonetheless.
る魔法使いなどほとんどいないだろう。
Look at Fern taking charge and also them all collaborating and working together. Stop it. This is exactly what Sense wanted, is mages working together, not being against one another.
フリーレンの複製体はなんとかなるとして。
フリーレン様、なんだか楽しそうですね。
Oh, that's so cool.
大体まとまったな。それじゃ
It's
あ、
like old
アイゼンが
times
敵を
when
引き
she
つけ
was
て側面
traveling
か
and
ら攻撃し
exploring, coming up with plans
フリーレン
to
は援護射撃だ。
defeat their
ハン
enemies.
ターは
今日は二日酔いでダメないだ。
He's
死
resting.
んでる。
Uh oh. Go, Aisen, go! Just hide her on the beam.
こうやってダンジョンのボスを倒すためによく話し合ったなって思って。
Part of the fun. Exploring and collaborating with your friends. Oh my god, them too. I swear.
攻
I have a
略を
plan.
開始しようか。
勝てるのか。
大丈夫。攻略できないダンジョンなんか存在しない。私は歴史上で最も多くのダンジョンを攻略したパーティーの魔法使いだよ。
She's talking from experience. She knows.
少人数の方が相手の行動を
Oh,
予測
it's
しや
gonna
す
be
いからね。
Frieren and fun.
確
Awesome.
かに全員で戦えばほぼ確実に勝てるだろうけど、大半が死ぬことになると思う。
それよりも最深部に集まってくる複製体の足止めの方が重要
Holding
という
them
わ
off
け
so they can't join. Oh god, here they come.
挟み撃ちにされたら私たちは全滅だからね。じゃあ作戦通りに。
ああ、
This is so exciting. It's ready. Close the doors.
このメンバーの中で苦手な相手を言い合おうか。
Are they gonna pair off against each other's replicas? Mirror images. It's just so cool looking as well.
ユドラジルム。
Oh wow. Flawless animation.
ボルザンク。魔力探知は途切れた。その隙に潜伏したフェルンを私は警戒する。フェルンを探す余裕なんてあるはずがない。だって、私の怖さは私が一番よくわかっている。
Done yourself.
完璧に潜伏したフェルンは私でもそう簡単に探知できない。
At hiding her
でも
mana.
本当に攻撃に使う魔法はゾルトラークでいいのですか？
Yes.
最も速射性に優れているからね。それにゾルトラークはエルフにとっては比較的新しい魔法だから、どうしてもその対処はたった一瞬。
So it's not new to humans because of the length of time, but it is still new to elves.
フェルンにとってゾルトラークは生まれた時からあって当たり前のもので、
Yeah.
その身に刻
second
まれ
nature
てい
to
て
her.
当然の魔法使いの基礎だ。
Second nature to most humans.
フェルンのゾルトラークなら私を殺せる。
This is so cool. No! I wanted to watch that.
正直もう二度と会わないものだと思っていた。
先生の遺言状を届けに来た。悲しくないの？
気まぐれで育てた弟子だ。
Probably meant more to Flem than it meant to Seri.
皇帝が国を挙げた魔法の研究に認可を下ろしたそうだ。人間の文化圏では今まで魔法は魔族の技術であるとして表立った研究は
Oh, but now they've opened it up to
働き
humanity.
かけたのはフランメで、彼女
Is
は
that why Seri
新設され
steps
た宮廷魔
in?
法使いとやらの教育に携
Because
わっていた。
Flem requests it.
私にそれを引き継いでほしいという内容だ。
And she's still there all these years, so she must have actually cared for Flem and it mustn't have just been a whim.
そ
So
れって
Flem
すごい
caused
こと
the
なの？
shift in attitudes in relation
大
to
陸最
magic.
大の統一帝国が魔法の研究と軍事転用を始めるということだ。
Oh,
人類が魔王軍に抗う力を手に入れることを意味する。
そう、すごい
it
こ
is
とだね。
incredible. This is Flem's legacy.
まったくだ。だが それは私の望むところではない。
Excuse me? Then
こんな遺
why
言は到底聞き入れられん。実に不愉
does
快だ。
Seri step in?
誰もが魔法を使える時代だと。
Oh, are they an elitist?
魔法は特別であるべきだ。
Okay.
才ある者以外に教えるつもりはない。
That's why they set up the
こん
tests,
な
right?
ものをよこすとは。フランメとは最後まで分かり合えなかった。
Glenn wanted the magic to be available to
所詮は
everyone,
気まぐれで育て
inclusive
た
of
として。
everyone.
先生はゼーリエは怒って遺言状を破り捨てるだろうって言っていたよ。それでも伝えておきたかったんだって。夢が叶ったよって。じゃあ私は行くね。
There's more
多分もう
emotions
会う
there
こと
than
もないと
Sari
思う。
will admit.
フリーレン、その前に少し歩かないか。どうせ私たちには時間はいくらでもあるんだ。
What's one walk?
誰もが魔法を使える時代はフランメの夢だった。
She wants magic to make people
あの子
happy,
のお気に入
right?
りの魔法を知
It's
っている
the
か。
flower.
花畑を出す魔
Yeah.
法。何の役にも立たないくだらない魔法だ。
She wants people to be able to bring joy to each other through magic, right?
あの子は本当に魔法が好きだったんだ。世界中の人がそんな魔法を使えるようになってほしいと本
It's
気で願
not
って
for
い
an
た。
ulterior purpose, but for everyone
虫
to
唾が走ったよ。
find joy.
まるで女の子みたいな可愛い夢だ。でも実際にそうだったんだよ。
Oh, little phlegm.
正直私はそんな時代はずっと先のことで、あの子には実現不可能なことだと思っている。
She's
あの子は
strong-willed.
私にとっては無にも等しいような短い人生で人類の魔法の開祖にまで上り詰めた。
まるで何かにせかされているみたいに。
I feel myself welling up.
人間には寿命がある。私たちよりも死に近い場所にいるんだ。
So they're more
人生に
driven
は
to achieve things
重
in
大
their
な決
lives.
断をしなければならない時がいくつもあるが、あの子たちはそれを先送りにはできないんだ。私たちはそれを100年後にやっても200年後にやってもいい。
Humanity can't.
1000年ほったらかしにしたところで何の支障もない。私たちの時間は永遠に近いのだから、たった1000年で人間の時代がやってくる。私たちは人間に追い抜かれる。
And the elves will no longer be significant and
鍛錬を
important.
怠るなよ、フリーレン。
They won't be special anymore.
お前を殺す者がいるとすれば、それは魔王か人間の魔法使いだ。
これから先、たくさんの魔法使いと、いろいろな
What
魔
an
法が見られるんだ
exciting
ね。
adventure. Full of new things to explore. I wonder what caused Sari's mind to change then. Oh my god. Van's always had the ability to be able to kill her. And she's always known it because of how talented she is. It's always been there in the back of her mind that Fern is powerful enough that she could one day bring about the end of Frieren. But it's so interesting to see the similarities that Seri took on a human apprentice almost reluctantly, almost on a whim. And likewise, Frieren didn't necessarily want an apprentice, but took her on because she felt she had to with Haita's death incoming, and she also recognized that there was innate talent in Fern. So they've both ended up becoming mentors to humans and both able to recognize their power and capability. But I also think it shapes them. It allows them to understand humans more, and that time is important, that they cannot have the luxury of wasting time to the same extent as their mentors because they are humans and their lives are limited. But they also value them in their own unique ways. I don't think Seri completely dislikes Flem, that it's only a whim, that she doesn't have some sentiment there, because she does end up fulfilling Flem's wishes, Flem's dreams. So something sparks a change in her. And she even fondly talks about her dreams, even though she thought Flem's notions were disgusting and not what she wanted, because she thinks magic should only be for a selected special few and shouldn't be open to everyone, just because Flem wants everyone to experience joy and happiness in the way that she does from her favorite spell, which is casting flowers. But she must have some sentiment to remember her so fondly as not only a child, but also the fact that she then goes on to fulfill her will, fulfill what she wanted in the end. And Frieren even says that she looks forward to the day of either being killed by the Demon King or a human mage, and speaks of excitement about the new era of magic that's going to be developed, because again, now that magic has been opened up to the world and it's no longer treated as this taboo link to demons, they now can see the technological advancement of magic. They get to see new spells being created, new things being developed that they only could have dreamed of. It opens a new era, but also for Frieren, who just loves magic for the sake of magic. She now gets to discover things that she never thought possible. She gets to find all these silly, quirky little spells that were never available to her before. But I also think it goes to show a lot of how Frieren has progressed over time, because she would have had a similar attitude to Seri of her life was so short, to me it was almost nothing. And she would have had a similar prospect, because the reason she didn't want to take on an apprentice was because their life would be so short that they would eventually die, and she didn't want to have to go through that continuing the cycle of having to train someone and then they die, and then having to train someone new, and it just being a repetitive cycle. She didn't have to go through that. But also, I think a fear as well of losing someone. I know people have argued with me that like Frieren wouldn't care about that, but I think some of it could come down from the fear of losing someone that you've grown close to. She lost Flem, and people think that she's incapable of having emotions, that she's only learning how emotions work on this journey. But I don't think that's true. I think she already was capable of feeling these emotions, but the journey makes her understand them more clearly. She's already expressed these emotions, she's already had these connections. She just needs this journey to help her understand it further. It's not that she's incapable of feeling this way, she just doesn't have a way to define it, a way to put it into words. And I think that's part of her journey, is not necessarily to learn how to interact with people, because she already knows how to interact with people. We've seen that. We've seen the lessons that Himmel has taught her pervade her everyday life. This is more so her journey of further recognition, further understanding, not necessarily her journey to understand humans and learn about humans and have those connections, but more understanding her own feelings, understanding her own connections to people that she didn't previously value because of the difference in time, because she has longer to live than they do. So she doesn't find herself getting as emotionally attached. But we know that she did get attached, and we know that those relationships were significant to her, and we know that they had meaning to her in a way that she just didn't know how to communicate or didn't know how to understand in the same way that she does now, because of this journey, because of the experiences that she's learning on the way and through her interactions with Fern. So it's not that she's incapable of human emotions or connection with people, she just doesn't recognize it until she begins this process of self-discovery. And it's Himmel's death that prompts that, but those emotions beforehand were genuine and they did pre-exist. They just have new meaning and new sentiment now that she is learning more about what it means to be connected to others, and also finding value and time in memory and remembering the people that we've loved and lost. But it's so interesting to see the similarities between them, but they both have a very different understanding of magic. Seri's very into the idea of keeping magic cloistered to the special few, not opening it up to others, not about the love of magic, but more hoarding knowledge and keeping it to those she deems worthy. Whereas Frieren is more like Flem in terms of it's about the love of magic, but she also enjoys studying magic and learning about magic. In her mind, she doesn't see the value in just being handed something. She wants to discover it for herself. She's naturally curious about magic, but she also loves it in the same way that Fern also loves it. And I imagine Sari also loves magic too. But there's a difference between them in that she sees Flem's dreams as not worthy ambitions, that magic should only belong to the special few, whereas Frieren sees magic as something that should be shared because she finds it exciting, because the natural curious part of her personality is interested in what's going to develop now that humanity has access to magic. She doesn't see it as a threat. She doesn't see it as something that devalues her worth. She sees it as something that is going to open up a new frontier of magic that she's going to have access to. And she's now going to have new ways of discovering things that she's never discovered before. It's not going to be stunted, it's going to be expanded upon. And her natural curiosity is what gets the better of her. And her natural curiosity is what essentially drives her. So it's interesting how we see both of them take on human apprentices, but both of them also have different approaches in relation to the idea of humans having access to magic. But maybe it's because Flem raised Frieren that she also shares a similar love for wanting to bring people joy and also believing that magic should be accessible because it makes people happy. But I also think Frieren's curiosity is also a big driving factor because she says that she's excited to see what is developed. I really just want to know more about Seri, about why Seri's perspective changes, because she's adamantly against Flem's dreams because she sees it as disgusting. So something must have caused the perspective to shift. And Flem obviously knew Seri extremely well because she said that she knew the will would be ripped up and thrown away, that she would be abhorred at the idea of being asked. But she obviously feels some connection to Flem and some debt to Flem, that she then takes on this position that Flem requests of her to continue on the Continental Magic Association, to allow magic to be accessed by humans in general. So I'm excited to see what's caused that altered view of the world. Maybe it just comes from time. Maybe Sari just needed time to sit on the idea and to essentially come to terms with what's being asked of her. Maybe, like Frieren, time and distance has given her a new way of looking at things that she didn't necessarily have before. Because again, as she mentioned, the whole humans don't have the same luxury of time as we do. They have to rush through things, whereas we don't have to do that. We have a millennium to contemplate our decisions. So I think that could be a hint as to why her mind changes, is because she's had a millennia to essentially watch what humanity does with magic, and maybe that alters her view and she begins to value Flem's initial dream and wants to continue it on. Or maybe she has other notions. My initial notion was that I felt that potentially she was doing it to highlight humanity's greed when it comes to magic, that they're not doing it for the love of magic, and that it could be her way of critiquing humanity's access to magic by saying, well, you have access to it, but you don't actually love and appreciate it in the same way that other people do. And this is why it should have been kept locked away and special. But this has added more context, and I think it is just she's had time and space to reflect and also watch how humanity adapts magic and come to love and appreciate magic, and that potentially has rubbed off on her in the way that she then takes up the position that Flem requests of her. But it's just so sweet to see the flashback to Flem as a child, and also to see the connections between all four of them, because essentially, again, this is a legacy. It's Seri, Flem, Frieren, Fern. It's a legacy of mages at this point, all learning from one another, all becoming more powerful than the next. And it's just amazing to see these strong, empowered women all honing their abilities, all finding love and joy in magic in different ways to each other, but it's still all fundamentally coming down to the love and joy that magic brings. It's a fundamental lesson that's being transcended from one generation to the next. And it's just sweet to see how Flem's legacy lives on in everything that she does as the founder of Humanities Magic, as the founder of the Continental Magic Association, as the one that's opened the doors to magic no longer being seen as demonic, but as something that is helpful and beneficial to society, and how people should have access to it because it brings her joy and happiness. And likewise, she believes everyone should feel that same joy and happiness. Her legacy lives on much in the same way that Himmel's legacy lives on. And it's through remembering those that we love and care about and who have changed our lives that we continue to live on too. But that's all I have to say in relation to this episode today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!